She asked for a termination 3 times and was told no because there was still a fetal heartbeat. She died of sepsis 6 days later. Savita Halappanavar was 31, a trained dentist from India living in Galway with her husband Praveen. At 17 weeks gestation, she was admitted to University Hospital Galway on October 21, 2012, with back pain and a miscarriage that clinicians described as inevitable. The fetus would not survive. Yet under Irish law then, termination was prohibited while a fetal heartbeat persisted. Over the next days, Savita and Praveen repeatedly asked for the intervention clinicians had already said was appropriate. They were told the law did not permit it, and twice that this is a Catholic country, while they waited for a heartbeat to stop on its own. Savita developed a serious infection. The infection progressed to sepsis and ultimately to septic shock from an extended-spectrum beta-lactamase-producing E. coli. By the time delivery and intervention took place, she was critically ill. She died in the early hours of October 28, 2012, 7 days after admission, 3 days after the fetus was delivered. The Health Service executive investigation that followed traced a pattern of failures in clinical response, delayed escalation, incomplete monitoring, fragmented communication between teams. The inquest returned a verdict of medical misadventure and identified specific lapses in treating her sepsis. Those clinical facts were unambiguous, but underlying them was a legal and institutional ambiguity that shaped clinicians' choices at every turn. The Eighth Amendment of 1983, embedded in the Irish Constitution, placed the life of the unborn on equal footing with that of the mother. Medical council guidance at the time permitted intervention to save a mother's life, but offered no practical clarity on when that threshold was met. In hospital corridors and on shift handovers, uncertainty about criminal liability and professional sanctions seeped into clinical decision-making. Notes from October 23 record Praveen, asking why a termination could not occur, and a midwife replying, "This is a Catholic country." That line became the rupture through which global attention entered what otherwise would have been a private tragedy. Savita's story is not only a catalog of clinical error, it is the story of a woman who had built a life and a future that was extinguished by a system unsure how to act. She and Praveen had retrained, relocated, and established themselves in Galway. She is a dentist, he is a software engineer. Friends described her as warm, professional, excited to become a mother. The miscarriage began to fail. Clinicians told them the fetus would not survive and that a termination would be medically appropriate. What followed was the practical application of constitutional ambiguity. Clinicians waited, monitoring vital signs and fetal heart activity, constrained by a law that prioritized fetal life in principle, but left no operational guidance for when maternal health required intervention. At roughly the 70% mark in any recounting of events, the central revelation becomes unavoidable. The legal prohibition and the fear of prosecution did not merely complicate care, they created a clinical environment in which hesitation was the de facto treatment. That hesitation turned a treatable infection into a fatal cascade. The aftermath was juridical, political, and profoundly human. No doctor was criminally charged. The Irish government convened a committee and passed the Protection of Life During Pregnancy Act in 2013, legislation widely criticized as inadequate. In 2018, a national referendum repealed the Eighth Amendment by 66.4%, one of the most decisive votes on reproductive rights in recent democratic history, and later that year, legalized termination up to 12 weeks, and in cases where maternal life or health were at risk. Institutional reforms followed at University Hospital Galway, strengthened clinical governance, clearer escalation pathways, and revised guidance to reduce ambiguity in emergencies. Praveen Halappanavar consented to make Savita's case public because he believed the circumstances of her death had to be known for change to occur. He has described sitting beside her, watching clinicians and the clock, and being told over and over that the law was the law. Savita Halappanavar was 31. She was a dentist who planned to be a mother. She died because the professionals who knew what she needed were uncertain whether they were permitted to provide it. Subscribe to Case Files TV because Savita Halappanavar deserved a country that chose her.